Hello guys. First of all, happy holidays for people that are in US. As you know, there are holidays today, so the market are very quiet. But I think it's still a good day to discuss and make a nice forecast for the week. And yeah, guys, hi everyone that joined the stream right now. We are live on the 5ers Live Trading Room today. So again, happy to be back on Monday for the weekly forecast as usual. Happy to be here with you guys. Meanwhile, other people join the live. Today we have released a new high stakes base balance account, which means that you can actually start from a lower account. You can actually start from a 5K account on the high stakes, which is, I think it costs only $39. So it's cheap and it's nice, and there is a big opportunity for people that want to try and join the program. So we have released this today. So have a look on the website and check if it's something that fits your trader needs. Hello, getting an echo. This is not good. Maybe for the sound. Let me check that the sound is fine. No, I think it should be fine, guys. Let me know if the sound is good. I don't think we have an echo. And if yes, let me know. You have feedback. What do you mean by feedback? Maybe you mean the sound? Echo, okay. Okay, let me check why. Okay, this should be better now, guys. Let me know again. Sound check. This should be good. Thank you for the feedback, guys. So yeah, happy trading, everyone. But today there is no trading, and today it's there are trading, but not a lot. It's holidays in US, so the market will close, I think, very early, and the market is not volatile. So it's better to put your head aside and just, you know, make a forecast for the week, create your plan, and expect some movement. Hey Yanis, good evening. Happy to see you here. Better, okay. Get a nice feedback. Thanks, guys, for the feedback. Okay, so we have a little bit more people right now. Again, I want to remind, we have released the new iStakes account, which start from 5K. So if you want to start from a lower account and try to build it all the way, like Yanis actually, that start from a 100K account and actually trading a 250K account. Again, very impressive, your performance, Yanis. So happy to see you here on the chat. But yeah, you can actually start from a low account, low balance, and you can show consistency over the time and actually grow your account. And this is what is nice with our programs. In most of our programs, it's that you can actually grow your account. If you start from a 5K, you can actually, if you're very consistent on the long term, you can actually grow your account to 100K and 200K. So this is what actually make the 5ers unique. So it's important to remind. I don't think I have echo anymore. I think this is okay. Okay, let's move into the market directly, guys. Hold on, here we are. Okay. Okay, so here the sound is also okay. And I just open a chart, Euro USD. which is still continuing to go down. But if you remember, guys, this is a zone that actually interesting me to open some buy position. Of course, we should be careful with that because the market is on a big downtrend. But I would be looking for buying opportunity next week. When I see a huge movement on the downside, the first thing I think and I want to do on the market is make the opposite. For people that know me already, this is the type of movement I look for. I'm not a trend follower like this one. I believe that at some point the trend will end, and this is the type of spot I like to identify. Here it's again, it's a pivot point in the Euro USD. If you go even back left side on the chart, okay, the 1.07 level is a big zone, a big key zone. Okay, it was the bottom during the COVID, then bounce. Here we break out this very drastically. We make a retest and we touch again. And you see also recently that we had a lot of confluence in this zone. Like here, you see all this zone, we had a rejection here, a second rejection here, breakout, and then here a lot again of accumulation, another retest here. And the market is exactly inside this big zone. And if you go to the left side of the chart, you see a lot of movement when you go into this zone. And of course, the only thing I see here is expecting the market to make a short bounce, not expecting again the price to move above the high, which I think we have a high point for the year in the Euro USD, which will be 1.10, which I mean this is the core, the correct one and the most understandable level. But from here, I'm expecting a rebound after the big retracement that we had during 1 week, 3 weeks already. 3 weeks already that the Euro USD is stepping down, and we have stochastics as well below 20 starting to cross. So we are losing momentum. We are in a big zone. Again, I don't know when I will open a position, but this is for me a zone that I would look for this week, and this would be one of my, let's say, wish list, not wish list, but watch list, sorry, watch list on my trading plan. So Euro USD. I think this makes sense for you guys, that the Euro USD here we are in a key zone. For some people it will say, yeah, the market is going down, it will be difficult for me to make anything. Some people will still continue to sell, but the market, you need to remember that the market here already went 3% down, and in Forex it's quite a lot, with at least no retracement to the mean. We didn't go back to the mean here. You see, we are quite far. Let's read a little bit the chat. Appreciate that, Ruben. Yeah, of course. Happy to see you here again, Yanis. I hope you can continue. I think you're starting well, your big account. I invite you guys to check Yanis' content as well in his channel. He's trading the 5ers account and he's growing constantly the account. And I wish him only the best for the next stage and the next phase. And this is a trader we want to have on the 5ers, and we are quite happy he's trading with us. This is a trader that look for the long term, and again, congratulations, and hope I can see you again performing. Pound New Zealand, pound yen. I will look at the pairs you are telling me on the chat, guys, so don't worry, I will be look at it. But again, Euro USD would be in my watch list this week. So let's move to the pound New Zealand, which was the request, but I also want to discuss about the US indices and all the major pairs, and the dollar index that I want to discuss as well. Okay, let's go to pound New Zealand to check where we are. Yeah, this is not a gap. Yeah, this is very interesting. This is again the type of spot I like to find. and I like to trade basically. So on the monthly chart, it's a big trading range. So we are expecting the price again to go back to the mean. I think we already discussed about that per probably recent weeks. The fact is that here we are in a supply, which is quite okay. On the monthly chart, the stochastics is still below 80. So I'm a little bit afraid on the big time frame that the market can still have higher push, and it might be not the best accurate point to open a trade. If I go to weekly chart, in any other case here, stochastics already cross here, created demand, but we are still at 80 on the weekly chart. What's happening on the daily? On the daily, we are again not at the top. So we have quite a little bit convergence with the momentum. When I have long uptrend like this, I like to see where is the end of the momentum. So on the weekly chart, you might have here a nice spot. On the monthly, not yet. On the daily, not yet again. If you go to H4, market already crossed 80 and already starting to go down. So you need to be a little bit careful when you want to enter. And what will be your target? Don't be greedy, okay? Don't be greedy, because if you open here on the daily chart, don't expect directly the price to go back to the mean like you want to have on the monthly. So you have to try to combine and adapt your risk management plan exactly for this type of trade. But this is the trade I like to go. And if you want to have a swing trade on that one, I would start by having some position here, and my last position to go would be probably around the top here of the candle, and basically also on the supply. But again, there is quite a lot of pips to go there. It's like 4% up. You don't want to be on a big losing position, so better to look on lower time frame and try to find, on H4 it's nice to see movement like that, because it say, okay, we create a base and the market can go down. But today it's vacation, so we don't have a lot of volume, not a lot of liquidity. So be careful with today. Okay, let's move to pound yen. Again, pound yen is the same analysis I had from last week. On the weekly chart, we have this uptrend, which is very clear. Okay, it's let's say the inclination of the trend line on the weekly is not extreme, like it's maybe like 20% uptrend, but like we can have something like that. And again, the only thing I see here is to find a sell position. I know that it can be against the trend, but this is what I want to do here. We are at the top of the Bollinger Bands. The average is still below. Stochastics is above 80. So I'm only looking for selling. Again, it's the weekly chart, so we need to be careful a little bit. We had a first rejection here, but you see the market succeed to make a new high. So we had here the daily chart. We had a rejection here. Come back to the mean exactly here, and then we are still at the top. So I'm only looking for sell position as well in the pound yen. I think this might be on my watch list as well, but you need to be careful because on the monthly chart it's look very bullish. On the weekly chart as well, I mean the overall trend is still an uptrend. If we can, this might be the average. But yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I'm expecting the market to touch as much time as possible the middle line. The middle line will be, I will do this in another color. Let's say, you know what, purple, dark orchid. No, it's the same color anyway. Let's go for spring green. Okay, so I'm expecting the price to play around this green line all the time. So you see, this is the line that we touch many times, and we cross it and we come back again. So this is the average for me. This will be my target, and this will be let's say my factor to make a trade. If we go far from this green line and we go like at the top, I will be selling. If the market come back down and touch this trend line and go into a demand or whatever it is, like here, I will be opening a buy. So it's the same. It's playing with the market like here. Of course, the best things here is to make a buy because we are with the trend. But the market is not here. The market is at the top, so it will be not a A plus signal, but again, it will be a nice spot to make a sell. Again, the risk management here is a little bit harder because the market can push faster against you. So this was Pony, and it's a very interesting chart. And I will be having this chart on the watch list as well. Pound CHF, good morning, Mohammed. Did we look at this chart as well? Okay. I have here some indication. It's quite clear. It's let's move back again. Again, big trading range on the pound CHF. It's look like a descending triangle if we look at this line. You know, we can have something like this, for example. So again, the only thing here is to find a buy at that spot, but we touched quite a lot of time the demand zone here, and we didn't succeed to make a new high. So there is a lot of pressure on the downside. I would not probably trade this pair on a buy because the downtrend is quite long and go time after time. The only thing I can do is maybe making some scalp when we reach this big zone here. This is the only thing I can do. And again, there are some people that say, yeah, the market is on a descending triangle. We touch a lot of time the demand. I'm expecting the market to break out. And I think this is the first strategy. This is nice this is okay to have a sell here. Again, this is not my mindset. I'm not looking for a breakout in the market. I'm like, prefer to have a chart which is normalized, which say, okay, all the time I'm expecting the market to go back to the mean. So I will do the opposite. But I can understand that some people here will say, yeah, I expect the market to break downside. And if you can also combine economic situation in UK and in Swiss and say, yeah, maybe here I'm expecting the pound to, the sterling to decrease in value. So it's a good sell, and I agree. I agree that here it can be a sell. But again, in my case and in my opinion, and in my strategy and how I trade, I will not be selling this type of chart. It's like the same example as I showed just before on the pound yen. It's an uptrend, but I will be looking for a sell. It's exactly the same mindset. Okay, I think we answered some questions already and some analysis that you guys on the chat wanted to discuss about. If you guys have other questions or other chats that you want to go together, let me know. Meanwhile, I will go over the major pairs and also the indices and also some commodities like gold and silver. Let's start with the S&P, which is the US indices. And again, Jordan is not here, but he was very pessimist on the US markets and what will happen. He expected the price to not crack down, but at least touch again the lowest zone. And I was looking for something different. If you remember, guys, we talked about this big rally that we had after the COVID. We talked about the inflation and all the hike in interest rate and all the stock market that was overvalued. The market went down. And for 2023, I was expecting the market to trade on a range. Actually, we are at the top of the range. Again, does that mean that we want to sell here on that point? Maybe. This might be, for me, a zone to make a sell. I don't want to make a buy at the top of the range. This is something clear. I think you guys understand the way I'm thinking. It's an uptrend on the daily chart on the S&P. But again, I'm looking for a sell spot. Today the market is on holidays. I think we had a huge movement down after. I think there was a big news here. I don't remember which one last week, and the market recovered everything and make a new high. So we can understand that the market is powerful here. Again, if you look at the big picture, I'm not expecting the market to fly and make a new record, all-time high by the end of 2023. We'll see. But yeah, this is what I want to look for this week. Try to make a sell on the US indices, especially S&P. And again, I want to go back again and highlight what we discussed last Monday. We are not talking anymore about inflation. We are not talking anymore about stocks that are overpriced, like we discussed it a lot of time. We are a little bit talking about debt, but again, it seems like the market doesn't care about it. I think what we care right now is how much the AI, artificial intelligence, will impact the revenue and the profit of companies. And I don't know if just after it was very funny, but last week, just after I talked about it, maybe 2 or 3 days after, Nvidia jumped 30% or 40% from the price because they expect a higher revenue based on AI and based on machine learning and all that kind of new technologies that we just entered. So this is what will bring like a new horizon in the market, and like something bright, like not like debt and inflation and recession, but we are talking about AI, which this might be the reason why we can actually make a new high and forget what happened during the last year with recession and inflation and hiking in interest rate. And I'm in the same mindset. I believe that using these new technologies in big companies like Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, everyone already starting using it. But here today it's more common. We are talking a lot about it. And also retail, I say, maybe AI can bring a lot of profits. So that's why we should invest right now. And this actually can happen. And I would not be surprised if in 1 year from now, we make a new high in US indices. We will be forgetting all the bad move that we had on the downside. So this is for the S&P. It's still a big picture, a big vision. But again, if I want to be more accurate and speak about this week, I would be looking for a short sell. Again, in the long term, I'm looking for higher high in the S&P, making an all-time record. But as a day trader, you need to try to differentiate the type of vision you have, and here it's making a sell. Basically, because we are not yet in the AI world and the future is here, but because we are still talking a little bit about inflation, recession, and that the market is still on a big move, and technically as well, the market is a bit overextended here on the S&P. If you go to, for example, the 30 minutes to be the H1, that we already have a short retracement. So this is what I'm looking for this week on the US indices. Okay, what you guys think? I think it would be interesting about what you think about S&P or Nasdaq for the following week. And if you have the same mindset as me regarding AI, I think this can be a nice open discussion on the chat. So guys, let me know what you think. Gold. We are also in a big key zone in gold. This will be in my watch list as well. If you remember, guys, I also said last week that I'm expecting gold to make a new low and create a base and create a rally. Here, this is exactly what we did. We went down, and here the price is starting to create a base, and it's creating a base in a good area that I wanted to look for. Which can create a little push here. So this was a big supply. We make a breakout, a lot of retest, and market is here on the daily chart, Stochastics is as well below 20, starting to cross. We are the bottom of Bollinger Bands. And the 1940 is also like a psychological zone. So Graham, you're looking for a sell, but I will be looking for a buy here. And again, I understand why you want to sell here. But in my case, looking at the daily chart, I would be looking for a buy. And again, I agree. You know, you go to the H1 chart, you say, yeah, it's a downtrend, or you can make a buy. But we are going in a big zone, which is for me quite an interesting zone. So I would be looking for a buy here. Looking at the weekly chart, at the retracement, we had a lot of rejection here. We are touching the average here. So we just come back for the average. This movement was very fast, very volatile, let's say. Market turned around the Bollinger Bands and come back to the mean. So it's like here, you see. The market went up, went down to touch the mean, and then move up again. And again, I still believe that gold can make a new high for a lot of macro environment reasons. Some people will say, yeah, they will buy gold according to what will do the dollar currency. But I believe in this context and what we have seen with Russia and Ukraine and what we have seen with inflation, that we are not so much connected with what's happening with the dollar recently. And we will move very soon in the dollar index chart to understand what's the technical analysis there and what we can talk about. But we know that in the long term, it's not something that will change, and I'm still expecting this to come. It's to have like metals and metal, let's say, metal commodities to extend and make higher high in the long term. We are still talking about inflation, recession, and stuff like that. Some banks are, collapsed. They actually were saved by other banks, but if you heard about SVB Bank and Credit Suisse and all of that, this can be a switch into traditional banks and into gold or crypto. Okay, actually crypto, we went a little bit down in Bitcoin to 26K, but I think gold and especially crypto have a bright future. Because this can actually change the traditional banking industry, and that's why I'm expecting the gold. I don't know when. We don't know when. This is why the when in trading is very important, but we don't know when. We'll probably make a new high. I see we didn't make an all-time high, or we did. Yeah, we did, but like a few seconds probably. We make a top and then come back again, but we're gonna have a new high that will hold in the long term, and you see we already tried many times to break it. So this was the all-time high, and then 2020, and then in 2022, so 2 years after, right? Maybe so it was August 2020, and then it was March 2023, so 1 year and a half after we try again to make a new high, did not succeed, make all the way down. Russia and Ukraine starting to make some problems in Europe, a war starting, gold pushing again, but also I believe for other reasons. And again, we got rejected at that point. It's the weekly chart, but again, I'm expecting the gold to rise. And this is why I'm looking for only buying opportunities more recently on gold. I was looking for this zone in February because I wanted to have gold in my portfolio, and I didn't have the good price to enter, and this was actually the good price to go in. And here can be actually another spot to enter the market. Okay, people that know what is DCA, dollar cost averaging, that all every month you want to increase your portfolio and you want to enter the market, you don't want to buy at the top. Okay, you can buy at the top actually if you don't care, but if you want your portfolio to be the most efficient, you need to say, okay, if the market is actually so far, so I want the market to at least go back a little bit before I buy. You don't want to buy when the price is high. Everyone and everywhere, even if it's on a store, or even if it's in the market itself. So when I want to make a buy, I'm all the time expecting for rejection, and then buying. So I will be buying here again, and especially this week, which I believe we are in a very important key zone. I don't know if this connects as well. Yeah, I don't like so much this type of like trend line, but on that connect only 3 points. I don't think there is a sense. You will see a lot of people on YouTube, yeah, it's a trend line because you connect 1 point, second point, and then the third point will fly up. On this case, it can work because we have a demand here, but you will see a lot of people on YouTube, like I say, yeah, you connect 2 points and it's a trend line, which makes no sense for me. But again, it's an uptrend. We have first inflection point here, the second one here, the third point that if the market succeed to bounce here after the demand, high chance that we touch again the top. So this is my explanation for the gold. Dollar yen, which is a major pair, we're going to talk to it. Sorry, we're going to talk about dollar yen right now. Okay, to that I need to okay. I actually see that there is a lot of divergence in the multiple time frame in dollar yen. So first of all, I'm not comfortable by trading it. The only period I was good on dollar yen to expect the price was when the price just fly up. I don't know how much from the bottom. This was like 50% up, the dollar yen. And I say at some point there will be a big wave of sellers coming in, and they just arrived here. Actually, on the monthly chart, you see there is quite a lot of I don't know if we can look at the 83 zones historically. Today the world is completely different, and again, just to make something a shortcut, this is important to differentiate the different period. I know a lot of traders that use the EA and that backtest the strategy going back 40 years in a row and 40 years back. This is nice because you have a lot of data and you can analyze it, but you need to differentiate the different time of period. The period you are trading here, I don't know if actually it's a good data, but let's take it as an example. When we were historically here, dollar yen trading around 220 during 1975 and 1986 was definitely not the same period, historically speaking, than today, and than between like 1988 and here, and then here. So you need all the time to differentiate historically your period and say, yeah, okay, this period, historically speaking, is connecting to the New Zealand CAD of this period. Okay, so you need all the time to, I don't know what are the parameters to say that, but talking with professional traders, this is what they do. They differentiate the period all the time. If your strategy works here, work here, and work here, this doesn't mean this will work in here, because you need to set up some parameters. Maybe here, I don't know why. Here the Japan was, I don't know, politically speaking, was empire, or I don't know, whatever it is. And today it's a democracy, you know, you don't know, and this is what actually can affect the price. So you cannot take a big data. This will be an overfitting sample. I won't enter into detail, but again, let's move back to what is important for the week. Again, talking about the monthly chart, this is looking very bullish. Okay, when you have this big uptrend, the retracement exactly on the mean. You see, we almost touched the mean here. It looks like we're gonna like make a new high, and this is going to be explode. We are going to explode it. But we touch this zone, so this is also a zone. Looking at the weekly chart, we are already at the top of Bollinger Bands. Again, stochastics is not again close to 80, which just means we can have quite a lot of space on at the top. So again on the weekly chart, I'm not so comfortable as well. Looking at the daily chart, you guys already know me right now. I don't want to make a sell because we are far from the mean and we are at the top of Bollinger Bands. But is making a sell a nice decision here? I actually don't know. And when I'm not comfortable and I'm hesitating like this, I will say, okay, it's better to leave this pair aside. I can still like look at it and check how the market is playing. But I don't want to take a decision which on my mind already I'm not comfortable by taking it. We have still stochastics here, quite overextended, starting to cross. You see it's like being flat. I don't know if we can, that this seeing here is a key zone. We touched this point here we did not connect. A lot of big movement, so I don't know if this zone is like a relevant zone. And again, by looking at the H4, it's quite the same. It's a big uptrend. I don't want to make a buy based on this stuff. If I go to lower time frame, let's say the M30 or H1, we can identify the uptrend. Which will be this. And we are exactly at the average. Maybe making a buy here. We are already at, you see here on the H1, the stochastics is below 20. M30 as well, you know, if I move lower into M30. So you have here a demand. First of all, you have another demand here. So, you know, so you can actually map map the dollar yen. And this is quite the uptrend. Some people will say, yeah, we actually break the trend line. This is why I don't like to connect, but for me a trend line, let's say an uptrend, is when we are making a higher low quite consistently, and this is what we see here. We have a low here, higher low also here and so on. So this is why we are still on the trend line or on the uptrend here. So you can actually map the dollar yen like this. On the M15 it's quite the same. Okay, so here can be a buy, for example, like yesterday. If the market opens, we are touching the top. The market is already open, but we don't have a lot of volume because of holidays. But you see here, we are in a zone which can be interesting. It's a demand here on the M15 minute chart. We are on this zone. It was the top of 25th of May, and so on. So you can like zoom in very accurately and say, okay, I don't care what's happening in the monthly chart, which actually I don't want to trade it, and you say, okay, I will take the dollar yen to make some buying scalp. Okay, again, if I go back to what I said before, I don't want to trade this per this one specifically for this week. What else, guys? Do you have any pairs that you want to discuss about? Dollar yen, New Zealand dollar, yeah, which is again another major pair. New Zealand USD. It's been a lot of time I didn't trade the New Zealand and the Aussie. again, looking at the monthly chart, you don't want to make a buy as the market is creating like candlestick pattern that say, okay, the market will move down, and probably the next target for traders that are holding a sell position would probably be this point. So looking at the monthly chart, you don't want to be stuck in a long position here. Specifically myself, it's quite the same mindset of on dollar yen. Again, you have another demand here. So on the monthly chart, this is the two big zones that you need to look for. On the weekly chart, again, nothing here on the left side of the chart. Daily chart, this was probably like the demand zone that we just break. So this is why I think there is quite a lot of space to go on the downside. And some people can actually play it, which I mean, okay, the market already break out. The monthly chart look very bearish. I want to make a sell and expect the market to, I don't know, go back to here, which makes sense. But again, I'm not looking for a sell in this case. I'm all the time looking for a retracement. And here, I'm not sure the retracement will happen, so I prefer to leave this chart aside. But I agree that a lot of people will say, yeah, the market should break out. The demand zone is here not relevant anymore, and the market can make a lower low and continue. So here it's like a no man's land. You see, from here to here, it's like nothing to do on the left side of the chart, on the daily chart. There is a big gap. My mindset will tell, yeah, maybe you can make a buy because we are at the bottom of Bollinger Bands and stochastics is again below 20, but again, it will just break my trading plan to make a buy here. This is not the mindset I want to have. On the H1, yeah, it probably was, there was a news here. It's just looking bearish here, nothing different. Again, if you go to M15, so yeah, you can maybe find some spot to go, you know. Oops. Even on the M15, the chart is not showing a lot of interest. So you had, you know, this type of uptrend, and then we had a break. And then it can be the same here, so you have quite a short uptrend, and then we can have a break. So generally, this is how the market is behaving when the market is bearish. You have a short uptrend, smashing down, short uptrend, and then again smashing down on the downside. So again, there is nothing to make a buy for me also on the lower time frame here. Actually, nothing. Hello, I want to know which news do you guys consider as a high impact news? The one that you can't execute orders. So you can actually go to Forex Factory. I will also show you this here because it's important to discuss about the news that we're going to have this week. But basically you go into Forex Factory, like here. So you see actually it's holiday today. Like you see Monday, this is why you don't have a lot of volume and liquidity. Some markets are open, like Forex is also open, but no volume. I don't encourage you guys to trade today. Then you go to tomorrow. So all the yellow and orange are okay to trade during the news. But when you go into like the red, like which is high impact news, you cannot trade. So you can actually filter and keep only the high impact news, for example. And then you have tomorrow the CB consumer confidence, 5 p.m. my time. So you cannot trade around this news. So this will be tomorrow, and we have a lot of Wednesday. We have a lot of high impact news. We have the Aussie CPI inflation. We have also SPIX. Here you can trade because it's not a release of data. You see there is no like forecast or previews. This is a meeting probably. Here we have the CPI on in Germany. You have the GDP on CAD, and you have the job openings in US. Okay, so this is what you should do. So Wednesday will be quite an interesting day because it will affect almost all the major pairs, Aussie, Euro, CAD, and USD. Thursday, it's also a big day for the US market, which we will have the NFP. Sorry, not the NFP. The non-farm employment change, unemployment, and PMI, which is I think the most important here. And Friday, non-farm employment change again, and employment rate, which is also would be very interesting. Okay, employment rate. So this is where you should look for the high impact news. Pound Aussie. This will be the last pairs guy for today, the Pound Aussie, and Dream is also talking about the Nasdaq, which can have retracement on the H4, very short term. Again, I assume it will behave the same as the S&P, also on the big time frame, which I believe, and I will be looking for some sell position this week on the US indices. I need to be careful because the market pushed quite drastically last week. Even the market pushed down after the big news. The market retraced everything, so be careful when you sell, especially on US indices this week. But I believe there will be some spot, and especially the price, where the price stands in US indices. Pound Aussie. Looking at the monthly chart, I don't want to take any trades. We are basically in a big range. So here in 2012 and 2013, 2014, 2015, we have quite a lot of movement. And here we are trading sideways. And we are not at the extreme point. So this is the average. So looking at the monthly, I don't want to take any trade basically. And if I want to take a trade, it will be only on the sell side because I'm at the top of the average. Looking at the weekly, we are here close to a resistance spot. It's not so accurate here, but again, we are not so far. Stochastics here is above 80, already crossing. Again, not an A+ signal for me. And on the daily chart, we are continuing pushing on the upside. So again, here the only thing I need to do is being patient. And don't want to urge my position to be open. Just wait that the market reach this line, or check how the market behave, and then execute. And on the H1 as well, we have here big movement, at least no retracement. And on the 30 minutes, this is quite very interesting. All the levels here, like we make a circle. This is also the type of thing I like to see. So you see, we had this zone, which was very big key zone. High point, we break out, made a lot of retest, we break down, and then here the price is trying to push back again this zone. We had also this spot here, and we can also see this on the 15-minute chart. I'm talking about this zone. Here it's the M15, so you have some noises. You see, the market went down and move up. So here on Pound Aussie, it will say the only word I will have for this chart is patience. So just wait for the market to make a new high here, moving back to probably the higher spot, and touch the weekly zone that we have here. So here basically putting this chart aside and checking for the price to move into this zone, and then check how the market behave. This will be for the Pound Aussie. All right, guys. Again, I think we talked a lot about different pairs, which was interesting. I'm also like a little bit more relaxed because the market is not opening, the market is not making any movement while I'm talking. It's holidays in US, which is good to take, you know, this day to refresh your mind and say, yeah, okay, I'm actually building my trading plan for the week, identifying the different opportunities that we can have on different assets, and then coming tomorrow and Wednesday and the next days ready for trading the market, which I think it's nice. And I also like feel like more ready and more relaxed as well. Generally, you need to do this type of analysis on Sunday when the market is closed. But again, if you miss it, so wait for a holiday on Monday, and then do it. But anyway, Sunday it's important to forecast for the week, and generally Monday the market is already open. Today we had a chance the market is on holiday. All right, guys, another update for people that just join us in the middle. We have released a new high stakes balance account, which means that you can start from a 5K account. The price is $39, I think, if I remember well. And again, this is quite a nice opportunity because in the 5ers, in opposite to other prop firms, you can actually grow your account consistently. So you start from a 5K, and if you're very consistent and you show your consistency, you can actually move your 5K to a 10K account, to a 20K, and so on, up to 4 million. So this is why the 5ers again is unique on the growth. We are building our truth on successful traders that actually reach quite quickly higher level. So I invite you to check on the website the new high stake challenge, and again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. Our team is all the time open to answer your questions. Guys, thank you for being with me until the end. I hope you appreciate the trading room today. Tomorrow, Saul will make a live trading room. It will be like more active. Probably we take some scalping. This is generally what Saul is doing. And again, see you next week for myself, and come tomorrow to see Saul trading. Thank you, guys. Have a nice week, and have a nice day, and have a nice holiday if you are from US or Europe. Goodbye, guys.